The first thing everyone noticed was the growl. It was low, steady, and full of warning, echoing through the white, sterile hallway of Walter Reed Military Hospital like distant thunder. Doctors froze. Nurses halted mid-step. Even armed military police hesitated. On the hospital bed lay General Marcus Hale, one of the most respected Marine leaders in modern history, unconscious and bleeding from a shrapnel wound that had nearly ended his life. And standing over him, teeth bared and eyes blazing, was Rex, his legendary K-9 partner. No one could get close. Not even to save the man's life. Rex had been trained in one of the military's most secretive units, a program so classified it didn't officially exist. For over 6 years, Rex and General Hale had survived ambushes, bombings, and hostage rescues together. They had bled together. They had saved each other's lives more times than anyone could count. To Rex, the general wasn't just a handler. He was his pack, his leader, his family. And now that family lay broken, surrounded by strangers who smelled of fear and antiseptic. Every time a doctor tried to step forward, Rex snapped and lunged, forcing them back. "We can't treat him like this," one of the surgeons whispered. "He'll bleed out." But nobody dared to challenge the dog. The K-9 unit knew better than anyone that Rex was not just trained to protect, he was trained to kill if his handler was threatened. Outside the room, panic spread. The nation's hero was dying, and a single dog was the only thing standing between him and the help he desperately needed. That's when Nurse Eliza Morgan arrived. Eliza was new to the hospital, transferred quietly from a military trauma unit overseas. She didn't rush. She didn't shout. She simply stood in the doorway, studying Rex with eyes that didn't hold fear, only understanding. She had seen dogs like him before, not just animals, but warriors. Slowly, she stepped inside. "Ma'am, stop," a guard whispered. "That dog." But Eliza raised a hand and softly spoke 4 words. "Echo. 7. Raven. Home." Rex froze. His ears twitched. His growl faded into a confused whine. Those words weren't random. They were part of a classified unit code, a phrase only a handful of elite operatives and their K-9s were trained to recognize. A code that meant, "You are safe. The mission is over." Eliza took another slow step forward. "Good boy, Rex," she said gently. "You did your job. Now let us do ours." Rex's body trembled. For the first time since the explosion that had nearly killed the general, his defenses cracked. He lowered his head. Then, slowly, he stepped away from the bed. The room erupted into motion. Doctors rushed in. Nurses worked with desperate precision. Blood was stopped. Wounds were cleaned. Life-saving surgery began. Rex stayed close, sitting beside Eliza, watching every move with guarded eyes, but he did not interfere. Hours passed. When the surgery ended, General Hale was alive, weak, but breathing. In the quiet that followed, Eliza sat on the floor beside Rex, letting him rest his head against her knee. "He's going to be okay," she whispered. Tears slid down the dog's fur, though no one was sure if dogs could truly cry, or if this was simply grief finally being released. Later that night, Eliza stood by the general's bedside. He stirred, eyes fluttering open. His voice was barely a whisper. "Rex?" "He's here," Eliza said softly. The general smiled faintly. "Good, he always was." When Rex heard his voice, he stood and padded forward, resting his head gently against his handler's hand. The bond between them, forged in war and sacrifice, was still unbroken. Before Eliza left, General Hale looked at her with curiosity. "That code, how did you know it?" She hesitated, then said quietly, "My brother was in the same unit. He didn't come home. But he taught me the words, so I could help dogs like Rex find their way back from war." The general closed his eyes, filled with gratitude and sorrow. And in that hospital room, under soft glowing lights, a wounded hero, a loyal dog, and a brave nurse shared a moment that proved something powerful, that even in the darkest battles, compassion and connection can still save lives. Because sometimes, the strongest weapon isn't force. It's understanding.